Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gray, your one and only Corrupted Angel, and we're doing something a little special today, which is why I'm on the big screen. Today we're giving some life advice. I have spent the last couple of months hearing about it on YouTube and Twitch and Discord and Reddit and all these other places, not just on my own communities, but on so many other communities as well, about this sense of, especially around the new year, not having a partner or not being able to keep a partner and retain a relationship. And I wanted to talk a little bit about three tips that, or rather, three things that you can do as a person to essentially improve your odds of finding someone, but also really improve your odds of maintaining a relationship that is healthy and that doesn't breed resentment. And we'll get into that in a little bit of detail, but basically, as someone that is happily married, as someone that has gone through a really rough time of it, with many failed dates and also many mistakes in life, just in general, I've learned a lot, and I know a lot of people that have had a rough life too, as well as many that have had a really successful life. And so, a big thing that is a part of my content creation is making sure that you guys have an outlet that will distract you from all those horrible things. But even better, hopefully I can use my life experience to help teach you guys a couple of things that I've learned so you don't have to make mistakes any longer, and I can have made those mistakes for you. So let's get into the three things real quick. Number one, take care of yourself. This is a very broad statement, and I'll get into it in more detail. But number one is take care of yourself. I'm going to go through all three real quick, and then we'll go into detail with each one. Number two is make sure that you can sustain yourself. These are different, and I will get into how they're different soon. And then last but not least is prioritizing what you want in a relationship and making sure that you are not desperate in getting a relationship. And we'll talk about that one because that one is a bit more of a subjective thing. But let's talk about the first two. These are the most important ones in my opinion, and then the last one's sort of a bit of an iffy thing. Now, I do want to preface this whole experience, though, okay, by just making sure you guys are aware that obviously you don't need these things to get into a relationship, but also not doing these things and getting into a relationship, in my eyes, is kind of a dick move because, again, all of these things, the goal is to have the most healthy relationship possible. And if you just walk into someone's life as a giant red flag and they don't see it, sure, yeah, that's on them. And I guess they deserve it. But it also means that you're probably not going to have longevity in that relationship. So let's get straight into it, starting with number one, taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is really, really a big deal because it is vague in a sense, but essentially encompasses a lot of things. So to start off with, the first thing is taking care of your physical body, making sure that you are healthy. So go to the doctor and make sure that you're going to the dentist, make sure that you're getting your skin checked, right? Just simple shit where you know you're not getting melanomas, you're healthy, you're not overweight, that sort of thing, right? Just making sure that you're not fucking dying, okay? But also number two is hygiene, making sure that you aren't some greasy head, no showering, no shampooing, no shaving, like goblin Sasquatch looking ass, right? You want to be well kept. If you've got a beard, shave it down, make it neat, make it nice. If you don't want a beard or you can't grow one and you got patchy ass hair everywhere, shave it all off. If you have fucking massive hairy armpits, get rid of those, whatever. Wash your hair, make sure it's not greasy and grimy and gross. Make sure you get haircuts so you don't have all these split ends and all that sort of stuff. Really, just make yourself look nice and presentable because, again, taking care of yourself in a physical hygiene sense where no one's gone, ugh, this guy stinks, or this girl stinks, or oh, look at her hair, it's greasy to touch, and if I have it flick on my face, I'm probably gonna like break out into zits, right? Shit like that you don't want. You want to be taking care of yourself in a hygiene sense as well. And then the last way that I think is important to know in terms of taking care of yourself is in terms of your household and your lifestyle. A lot of people don't know how to remove stains from washing, or how to cook, or how to clean, or how to iron. They don't know, simple things like that. And so they end up with dirty house, or the dishes aren't done and they're all piled up and rusting and soaking. And there's, stains on their nice white shirts, or they're covered in wrinkles because the person doesn't know how to iron a button up, stuff like that, right? Simple stuff. These things not only are for your benefit, right, but they are so beneficial in terms of your relationship, and also, surprisingly enough, just your budget. The amount of money you save if you can cook at home, and I mean simple, nice, easy dishes, super handy for you, for your partner, for your family, whatever, whoever's living with you, or whatever your circumstance is. It's just beneficial to save money on food. It's beneficial to save money. You're not going out onto laundromats or to dry cleaners. You're not having to worry about hiring a potential cleaner, like a house cleaner or something like that, if you have the money to do so, right? You're saving money in that regard. And that is so incredibly important, because it benefits you on a monetary sense. It benefits you on a ability to be in a relationship sense, but it also means that you have something to do with your partner as well. Cooking is a fantastic thing that you can do with your partner. Cooking a meal together, finding a meal, learning a recipe together. It is such a great experience, and something that a lot of people really should get into the habit of doing, because you want to be able to share things with your partner as well in that regard. Even my cat's excited about it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Nevertheless, taking care of yourself is a huge thing. And if you can take care of yourself, then your partner's not going to feel like they're essentially babying you and taking care of you. And there's no resentment that's going to be bred from that, especially considering most people look for someone that is able to do those things in their life. And if you're looking for that, then make sure that you are that as well. Next up, being able to sustain yourself. What I mean by this is nothing to do with taking care of yourself, but rather instead making sure that you have a consistent lifestyle, making sure that you're not living paycheck to paycheck, making sure that, you're not doing nothing, and you're not, at the very least, studying or something, right? Like making sure that you're not just stagnating in a sense of unemployment and wallowing, and you can't leave the house because you don't have a car, or whatever, right? Making sure that you can sustain yourself is a massive deal. As someone who has gone to university and has worked part-time during that university period, it is really important to do so. If you are unable to get benefits from the government, that is a big deal. If you are like myself, who is no longer in university because I am an old man, I also just dropped out in general. But point being, if you are not doing that, then find a job, whether that be a casual job, a part-time job, whatever, as long as it supports your bills, it supports your expenditure in life, and you're able to be intelligent enough to budget and live in a way that you need to be able to still have some savings as well, because you need emergency money. You need over $500, right, in your savings account to be able to actually get into a relationship that isn't stressful and strenuous. Because as soon as you don't have backup money, as soon as you don't have this sense of being able to take care of yourself monetarily, or be working towards a bigger career, whether that be apprenticeship or study, and earning just a little bit on the side, right? That becomes a massive problem, not only for you, but also for your relationship. If you can't survive on your own, then that's kind of a big deal, right? And I know that it can be hard to find a job every now and then, but a lot of people that say that also are quite picky when it comes to finding a new job. And that is something that you have to understand, is sometimes you can't be picky until you find something. if you find something, whether it be a cashier or a laborer or something, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing. Once you get something, you can start being picky. You can start finding better jobs. You can start bouncing between jobs. But you need to find something as soon as possible to start it. Whether that is a side hustle from your thing, maybe you're making rugs or you're selling artwork or you're maybe just mowing people's lawns because you were able to get a nice cheap lawnmower and you're just going around your neighborhood charging, $40 to mow their lawn and maybe prune back some stuff, right? Whatever the case may be, if you're not hustling or finding a way to make money and you're not supporting yourself financially, it's going to be a really big point of contention with your partner, even if you do manage to find someone without having a job. Because if you find someone without having a job and without having these things, then they're probably going to grow to have a little bit of disdain for the fact that they're paying for everything and that they're the ones that are doing it, right? Because as a healthy relationship should be, everything should be 50-50. If you live together, the rent should be 50-50, the power should be 50-50, the water should be 50-50, the food should be 50-50, everything, the fuel, the car, expenses, all that sort of stuff. Once you're a couple, everything should be 50-50. If you go on a date with someone, it should be 50-50. And if you don't have money to go on a date, if you don't have money to pay for your end of the 50-50, like, that's a big deal. And that can lead to a lot of people growing resentful or being upset at their partner for not being able to chip in. And obviously, this is something that is perfectly fine when you've been in a relationship for 2 years or something, because you guys understand that you're not going to let this happen for very long, and you're going to actively work on trying to avoid that. But for the most part, starting out like that is a really poor decision. You can be studying, you can be working towards a career. Like I said, that's fine too, and that can allow you to essentially not have this sense of savings, right? If you're living week to week, but you're studying and you're working a part-time job, you're still able to live, you just don't have any savings. That is usually acceptable because, well, you're studying to get more money, to get more income, to increase your chance of livelihood, right? I know so many people that are doctors and whatnot, and they worked part-time for their entire doctorate period and their university period, and their partner maybe chipped in a little bit more because they were an apprentice or they were already in a well-off management job and stuff like that. And that can be okay because eventually, right, you have that promise of being able to still do things, just understanding that it will be at the expense of the other person. But once the doctorate or whatever you're studying completes, that will either become 50-50 at the bare minimum or be something that will exceed that. And then all of a sudden you are both actively saving more. Nevertheless, that is a really important factor, and you should always be making sure that your life is in order before you actually start to even look for a relationship. If you don't have a car, if you don't have the ability to go out on dates, then why are you looking to go out on dates? Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, that is not cool, and no one is going to like that, I'm sure of it. Last but not least is this sense of priority, and this is something that I have talked about a lot on my Twitch, weirdly enough, and that is this sense of don't go looking for a partner. Don't go looking for a partner, look for a friend, and expand your horizons on friendship. If you can't make friends with someone, then you got no hope of making yourself into a good partner. Because out of every single person I know, including myself, that is married and has been healthily married for years and is not in the rocks, not worried, not one of those relationships where they're like, oh, I gotta go to work so I can avoid my wife. It's not like that, right? If every single one of the successful relationships that I know and that I am currently in right now, is to be taken with some degree of example, then every single one of us agree on one thing. And that is that our partners are our best friends. They're the people that we want to spend the most time with. They're the people that we want to be around all the time. They are the people that allow us to live happy lives, to be happy, and to get to do fun things. Almost all of us stopped seeing our friends as much and stopped being around the friend group as much because, well, we have our best friend and we want to spend as much time with them as possible. Not to say that you should isolate yourself from your friends, because we definitely don't do that. But it is really important to also be best friends with the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, right? At the end of the day, we're looking at finding our partner, not just some summer fling. And this is another big factor. I see too many people, they're going on dates online and, just randomly asking people out on a date that they think are cute. They're not learning anything about this person. They're not learning to trust them. They're not learning what they like, what they dislike, their thoughts, how they react in certain situations. Becoming friends with someone not only allows you to open yourself up to more people, more human beings to become friends with, but also, in a lot of ways, allows you to create meaningful relationships in the form of people that you have seen the worst of and the best of, and can hopefully find a bond that allows you guys to become more than just friends eventually. And this doesn't need to happen over the course of years. This can happen in months in some cases. If you take myself and my wife, we knew each other for a handful of months before we were genuinely just really best friends and got to chat and got to be with each other and got to hang out and spend time together. And it is a really important thing that you should definitely be aiming to do. Make friends, because friends lead to more people, which lead to more potential friends, which also leads to more potential partners. And they are people that you know you can trust because your friend can trust them and vouch for them. And usually when you go along that system, if someone is trustworthy and is someone that you've known for a while and is someone that you gel with enough to be friends and talk to a bunch and get to spend time with, you're going to have a stronger relationship, not only in the early, but also in the late stages of your relationship. And you'll have a long-lasting experience where you get to go do fun things, have a good time, and know that every single thing that you get to do will be communicated with. Best friends don't just give up on each other after one fight or one disagreement. Best friends talk it out. Best friends communicate healthily and understand that there's not really much point in us fighting. There's not really much point in a best friend breaking up over something silly or whatever, right? It's not how that works. Best friends are there forever. They're there to the end. And if you can find your best friend, you probably found your partner. Nevertheless, with that in mind, those are my 3 little tips. To summarize again, make sure you can take care of yourself, live an adult life, function as a human being. If you can, on second, make sure that you can afford your lifestyle, make sure that you are living an appropriate lifestyle, make sure that you have the freedoms of transport and income. And then last but not least, make sure that you are looking for friends and getting to know people more before trying to date them, because there are so many people out there that really aren't looking in the correct way and just ask people out because they're pretty, and that is never a good thing. It leads to attachment, it leads to disappointment, it leads to breakups, it leads to short-term relationships, and that is not what we are trying to find for you guys with this video. Nevertheless, thank you all so much, and I will see you very much so next time. Bye!